Hello, good morning ma'am, good morning classmate. Today I'm your presenter. My name is Leah Grace Grundiano Casis. Everyone, please keep your eye on screen and listen carefully because today we are going to discuss the two lessons, the lesson 3 and the lesson 4. In lesson 3, it's all about the characteristic of good and appropriate instructional materials and technology tools. So when we say instructional materials and technology tools, sa instructional materials, lahat ng teacher or even though the students, kapag nag-represent sila ng kanilang topic, kailangan talaga mayroong instructional materials. Bakit? Kasi sa pamamagitan ng instructional materials, mas lalong mai-engage si students sa kanilang discussion at mas lalong mauunawaan ni students kung ano ba yung kanilang tinatalakay. In terms of technology tools naman, ito yung mostly na ginagamit natin ngayon. Lalo na ngayon kasi wala tayong face-to-face. So, through technology tools, nakukontinue yung ating learning process. Even though we are in home, but then makaka-access tayo, makaka-join tayo sa klase. So, mamaya, madidiscuss natin kung ano ba yung mga halimbawa ng technology tools. Instructional materials and technology tools are the resources that helps teacher to teach the lesson. Ayan. Sa pamamagitan ng instructional materials, mas lalong madi-deliver ni teacher kung ano ba yung lesson na kanilang tinatalakay. So, paano ba natin masasabi na effective yung pagtuturo ng isang guro kung hindi siya gumagamit ng instructional materials? Kasi sa pagkatuto ng mga estudyante at sa pagtuturo ng isang guro, dapat hindi lang puro salita. Dapat kinakailangan din, mayroon ding ipipresent si teacher na mga instructional materials sa students para mas lalong mauunawaan ni students kung ano ba yung kanyang sinasabi. So, here are the types of instructional materials. We have 5. First is the print. The example of print instructional materials are like textbook, pamphlets, handouts, and study guides and manuals. So, yun yung pwedeng i-represent ni teacher or ipapakita niya during sa kanyang discussion para mas lalong magiging engageable yung kanyang pagtuturo or mas lalong ma-engage yung mga students sa kanilang discussion. Next is the audio. So, when you say audio, ang halimbawa naman nito na instructional materials na nabilong sa audio is like cassette, microphones, and podcast. So, halimbawa, si teacher discuss siya o nagkaroon sila ng discussion sa open area. So, si teacher kailangan, advisable, nagagamit ng microphone lalo na kapag mahina yung boses kasi sa pamamagitan ng microphone, mas maririnig, mas magiging malinaw yung paglalahad niya ng mga ideas sa lahat ng mga estudyante. Next is the visual. So, ang example ng visual is the chart, the real object, the photographs. So, kapag nagdi-discuss ka as a teacher, dapat kailangan mayroon kang ipapakita ng mga charts, mga real object para mas lalong magiging interesante or magiging interesting yung iyong pagtuturo. Next is the audio-visual. So, the example of audio-visual is just like slides, tapes, films, television, video, and multimedia. So, sa pagtuturo ni teacher, sometimes if you have observed, mayroon tayong mga napapakita si teacher ng video or ng short film which is yun yung magiging big picture ng mga students kung ano ba yung kanilang talakayin. Next is the electronic interactive. So, just like computers and graphing and etc. So, sa pamamagitan ng electronic interactive, mas lalong makaka-access yung mga students sa kanilang discussion. Example, if mayroon si students hindi na uunawaan doon sa kanilang topic, through the use of electronic interactive is maaaring makapaghanap sila ng ibang source na makakatulong din para maunawaan nila yung topics na hindi nila naunawaan. So now let's move on to the characteristic of good instructional materials. So sa good instructional materials, dapat kinakailangan i-consider din natin yung size and color. So dapat sa paggawa ng instructional materials, dapat yung size is big enough. Dapat makita siya within 4 corners of the classroom. So, hindi lang voice, ang kailangan maabot sa 4 corners of the classroom, but then also the size of your text in the instructional materials. Kasi may mga students na nearsighted, so, if yung instructional materials is maliliit, so may tendency na hindi yun siya makita ng mga estudyante, lalo na yung mga estudyante na nakaupo sa likod. Then, let's also consider the color. So, the bright color is one of the way to attract the students or to gain their interest. So, next is the durability. So, sa paggawa ng good instructional materials, dapat i-consider natin yung duration. Dapat yung instructional materials natin is not only good for one session. Dapat kailangan yung instructional materials natin na yun is magagamit pa natin siya into our next session. The next characteristic is the economy. So, in terms of economy, dapat kailangan din natin i-consider yung gagastusin natin sa paggawa ng instructional materials. Next is the portability. So, when you say portability, dapat ang ating IMs or instructional materials is easy to handle and easy to carry. So, dapat hindi tayo mahihirapan. Yung mga instructional materials natin is dapat hindi tayo mahihirapan kung paano siya dalhin, kung paano ba siya ipadikit doon sa board. Kasi may tendency na kapag mahihirapan tayo, madidistract din or maaring mapuputol yung pagkatuto or yung concentration ng mga students. Next is the relativity. So, sa paggawa ng instructional materials, dapat if you are mahilig ka maggawa-gawa ng concept sa paggawa ng instructional materials, dapat you need to consider the relativity. Dapat related siya doon sa iyong topic. Now, let's move on to the technology tools. The first one is what we call the Google Classroom. Google Classroom is a set of online tools that allow teachers to create lesson, collect students' work, and graded papers. So, si Google Classroom, mostly ginagamit din siya ng mga teachers, no, to reach their students, no. Sa pamamagitan ng Google Classroom, pwede nilang isend doon yung kanilang lesson. Pwede din doon masend the students yung kanilang mga assignments na pinagawa ni teacher. So, the next one is what we call the Zoom. Zoom is a video conferencing tool that provides instructor and students a way to meet online synchronous via personal computer, laptops, or cell phone with or without using video. Okay, sa pamamagitan ng paggamit ng Zoom, no, mafe-feel natin sometimes na parang nandun din tayo sa school kasi nga nakikita natin yung bawat isa through video. So, sa pamamagitan ng Zoom, no, pwede si teacher doon mag-lecture na makita yung kanyang mukha, makita din niya yung mga mukha ng mga estudyante. Kahoot is a tool that delivers and presents questions to the students. So, it is also a set of educational games in which the students can play either individually or group. So, sa Kahoot, kumbaga doon si instructor is ipa-flash niya lang yung mga questions sa screen, sa classroom screen. Then, si students is pipili lang doon ng sagot kasi nga sa Kahoot is multiple choices lahat ng mga questions. So, this is the example of Kahoot. So, where is the Eiffel Tower located? So, mayroong mga choices dito. So, si students, pipili lang siya kung saan ba doon yung kanyang sagot. So, Edmodo. Si Edmodo is an educational website that takes the ideas of social network and refines them and make it appropriate for e-classroom. Si Edmodo is almost the same naman din siya sa mga nabanggit, maliban lang sa Kahoot and tsaka sa Zoom. Kasi si Edmodo, almost may similar sila ng Google Classroom, which is si teacher is pwede din doon gagawa or mag-send ng assignment, mag-send ng lessons. Then, doon sa Edmodo, pwede din si students sasagot ng assignment. Let's move on to the lesson 4. Okay, our lesson 4 is all about the principles of universal design for learning guidelines. According to the Central for Universal Design is the design of product and environment to be usable by all people to the greatest extent possible without the needs for adaptation or specialized design. So, universal design, it is the making design accessible to everyone in society. Another term, universal design, is called a good design or design for all. The main purpose of universal design is to build the physical, learning, and work environments so that usable by a wide range of people regardless of age, size, or disability status. The universal design also promotes the access for individuals with disabilities. 7 principles of universal design. The first one is the equitable use. Equitable use is the design useful and marketable to people with diverse abilities. It is a website that is designed so that it can be accessible to everyone or to all people. Next is the simple and intuitive. Use of the design is to easy to understand regardless of the user's experience, knowledge, language skills, or current concentration level. Example is the science lab employment with a control button that are clear and intuitive. So the next is the perceptible information. In perceptible information, the design accommodates necessary information effectively to the user regardless of ambient condition or the user's sensory abilities. So the example of the perceptible information is the video captionings. Tolerance for error. The tolerance for error, the design minimize hazard and the adverse consequences of the accidental or unintended action. It is an educational software program that provides guidance when the user makes an appropriate selection. Next is the low physical effort. The design can be used effectively and comfortability and with a minimum of fatigue. So example is the door that open automatically. Next is the size and space for approach and use. So the design provide appropriate size and space for approach, reach, manipulation, and use regardless of the user's body size, posture, or mobility. Example is the science lab with adjustable tables. The second is principle of universal design for learning. It can be applied by any environment, products, and services, including learning environments, resources, and method of instruction. The principle of universal design, there are 3 principles that has been established for the universal design of teaching and learning materials and activities that makes the learning goals achievable by individual with diverse characteristics, including wide differences in abilities to see, hear, speak, move, read, write, understand English, attend, organize, engage, and remember. Principle of universal design of IT. It is the third set of principles to support the universal design framework. It is provide guidance to the design of IT using many products and environment. In the early years of the internet, the universal design practices begin to apply to the design of hardware and software to ensure the accessibility to individuals with disabilities, English language learners, and other groups. That's all. Thank you for listening. God bless.